There's a particular kind of quiet that only comes at a certain hour, when the city has finally stopped arguing with itself, when the streetlights are doing their lonesome best, casting long amber shadows on empty sidewalks. That's when the old music finds you. Not the hits you know by heart, not the records everyone quotes at parties. I'm talking about the other ones. The songs that lived and breathed and meant everything to somebody, and then, quietly, slipped away. Not because they weren't good enough, sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes a song is so perfectly made for one specific moment in time that when that moment passes, the song goes with it. 1974. The Vietnam War was winding down with wounds no one knew how to name. Watergate had cracked something in the American trust. But inside the clubs, inside the cars, inside the kitchens where mothers cooked and daughters danced, the music kept its promise. It said, "You are still here." And being here still means something.
Don't you keep on telling me everything's okay.
Tonight, we go back, not to the familiar names, to the ones history almost swallowed whole. 10 records from 1974 that deserve so much more than a footnote. And if this kind of late-night musical journey speaks to you, if you want to keep finding the hidden and the forgotten, take just a second and subscribe to R&B Feeds. Leave a like if you feel something. That's all. Let's go. Number 10. Shoe Shoe Shine by Dynamic Superiors.
First of all, let's get one thing straight.
Close your eyes and imagine a Sunday afternoon in a neighborhood barbershop. The kind where the linoleum is worn smooth and everyone has an opinion about everything. That's the feeling Shoe Shoe Shine carries in its pocket.
Ain't handing you no job.
The Dynamic Superiors were a vocal group out of Washington, D.C. who could take something small, a man polishing shoes, a woman watching him work, and find a whole sermon in it. In 1974, that kind of storytelling wasn't a novelty. It was survival. Black Americans were finding dignity in the everyday, because sometimes that's all the world allowed you to keep. What the group does with their harmonies here is something close to architecture. Every voice has a place. Nothing wobbles. The lead vocal rides just above the groove with this easy, knowing confidence. Like he already knows you're going to love it before you've decided. The song barely made a dent on the national charts. But in DC, in certain houses, it was the anthem of a season. And when you hear it now, especially late at night, when you're feeling that particular mixture of proud and tired, it still knows exactly what you need. That's the thing about a song built with that much care. It outlives the moment it was made for. Number 9. Outside Woman by Bloodstone.
I lay next to
Some songs arrive like a confession, like someone finally putting into words what everyone in the room was too careful to say out loud. Outside Woman is that kind of record. And Bloodstone were exactly the kind of group who knew how to make a confession feel beautiful.
I really want to see you right now.
They came out of Kansas City, Missouri, with harmonies so tight they sounded like a single instrument with 5 voices. By 1974, they had already found a modest following, but Outside Woman was something different. It was a song about a painful truth, a man torn between the woman he lives with and the woman he can't stay away from. The kind of story people lowered their voices to talk about at kitchen tables. What Bloodstone understood was that you don't need to judge a situation to make it powerful. You just have to sing it honestly. And they do. The melody glides over a slow, warm groove that never rushes, never shouts. It lets the weight of the thing sink in gradually, the way real regret does. In 1974, that kind of emotional complexity in a 3-minute record was a quiet form of courage. The song says, "This is what some lives actually look like, not the cleaned-up version, the real one." And somehow, wrapped in all those harmonies, it still sounds like something you could slow dance to, which is maybe the most human thing about it. We have always needed music that holds contradictions without breaking. Number 8. Do It Baby by The Miracles. By 1974, The Miracles had already survived something most groups cannot. They had survived the departure of Smokey Robinson. The voice, the pen, the soul of the group for over a decade. Some people thought that was the end of the story. William Mickey Stevenson, William Griffin, and the rest of the group thought differently. Do It Baby is what quiet resilience sounds like when it gets up and dances. It landed on the Billboard R&B chart and climbed with a kind of confidence that had something to prove. But it never let you see the effort. The production is crisp and bright, the horns step in at exactly the right moment, and the lead vocal finds a way to carry the Miracles tradition without trying to impersonate what came before. In 1974, there was something meaningful about a group saying, "We are still here, and we are still swinging." The country was tired. Music needed that kind of declaration. Do It Baby is the sound of a group that refused to be a footnote to their own legend. It's funky and loose and just slightly dangerous in the way the best dance floor records always are. Most people today only know the Miracles through Smokey. This record is a reminder that the story had another chapter worth reading. Number 7, Rock Your Baby by George McCrae. Sometimes a song arrives exactly when the world needs it to. George McCrae was a Miami-based vocalist who had been working the circuit for years, paying dues on stages that didn't always pay back. Then the summer of 1974 happened, and Rock Your Baby happened with it. That opening synthesizer line, those first few notes. If you were alive and near a radio in the summer of 1974, you remember where you were. What made this record different was its restraint. In an era when production was getting bigger and bolder, Harry Wayne Casey and Richard Finch, two young men from TK Records, stripped it down to something almost bare. Just rhythm, just voice, just the most honest groove you ever heard. McCrae's falsetto doesn't perform. It confides. He is not trying to impress you. He is trying to reach you. And he does. The record went to number 1. And then, like so many bright moments, it passed. George McCrae would never scale those heights again commercially. But Rock Your Baby didn't belong to a chart position. It belonged to a feeling. Windows down, summer fading, someone beside you in the dark. That feeling doesn't get old. It just gets quieter. Like something you carry at a lower register as the years go by. Number 6. Mighty Mighty by Earth, Wind and Fire. There is a version of Earth, Wind and Fire that everyone knows. The horns, the spectacle, the celestial production of September and Shining Star. But in 1974, the group was still becoming, still finding the exact shape of the force they were about to be. Mighty Mighty is from that in-between place, and there's something beautiful about catching a great band in the middle of its becoming. The record has a different energy than what came later. It's raw. There's funk in the low end that hasn't been polished into grandeur yet. Philip Bailey and Maurice White trade the melody like they're passing something sacred between them, and the rhythm section plays with the kind of hunger you can only have before the world has given you everything. In 1974, Black America needed this kind of affirmation. The word mighty wasn't incidental. It was intentional. It was political in the way that great art is always political, not by argument, but by presence. Mighty Mighty never became the song people associate with Earth, Wind and Fire, but every great river has tributaries. This record is one of them, and if you follow it back, you'll find the source of something extraordinary. Number 5, Let's Straighten It Out by Lattimore Sam.
Just sit down, girl, and talk to me.
There's a moment in certain relationships where everything that hasn't been said finally has to be, where the politeness falls away, and two people sit down with the truth between them.
'Cause if it wasn't, it wouldn't be correct.
Lattimore built an entire record out of that moment, and it remains one of the most quietly devastating things to come out of 1974.
You expect me to understand.
Benjamin Lattimore was a pianist and vocalist from Tennessee who had been working the Southern soul circuit for years before this record found him.
Let's straighten it out.
His style was rooted in the blues, not the performed kind, but the kind that lives in the voice. because life put it there.
But the last 5 nights on it went.
Let's Straighten It Out is a conversation. A man asking his partner to stop and look at what they have before it slips away for good. It's not an ultimatum. It's not a plea.
If you're tired and you don't want to be bothered, baby,
It's something closer to an honest accounting, and Lattimore delivers it over a piano and groove arrangement that feels like the floor of a quiet room.
just say the word and I'll leave you alone.
The record went to #1 on the R&B chart and sat there like it belonged. Then time moved on and took most of the audience with it. But people who know this record don't forget it. They can't, because it gets at something true about love that most songs don't have the patience to find. That the hardest conversations are often the ones that save everything.
That's all I want to do.
And a voice like Lattimore's, slow and certain and worn at the right edges, is exactly what that kind of song requires. Number 4, 3-Ring Circus by Blue Magic.
The whistle blows.
Love, when it goes wrong, can feel like the most elaborate performance you never auditioned for. Blue Magic understood this, and in 1974, they turned that feeling into something so achingly beautiful, it almost doesn't seem fair.
Jumping up and down.
Blue Magic were a Philadelphia vocal group, and Philadelphia in 1974 was producing some of the most lush, orchestrated soul music the world had ever heard. Sop, Kenny Gamble, Leon Huff.
All of the ups and downs.
The city had a sound, and Blue Magic were one of its finest instruments. 3-Ring Circus is a song about a man trapped inside a love that has become theater. The relationship has its acts, its routines, its practiced performances, and somewhere inside all of it, the real feeling has gotten lost.
Lips a lonely beggar.
The lead vocal carries this with a kind of controlled anguish that's hard to shake. It doesn't collapse, it endures. Norman Harris's arrangement is the other voice in the record. Strings that swell at just the right moment. A rhythm section that breathes rather than drives.
There's a 3-ring circus.
Everything serves the emotion, the way the best Philadelphia productions always did. The song charted, it moved people. And then the hits kept coming, and the deeper cuts got left behind.
Just one little ride on the merry.
But 3-Ring Circus belongs on the shelf next to the very best soul records of its era. Hearing it now is like finding a photograph you forgot you took, and realizing it captured something true that you didn't fully understand until this moment. Number 3, Ask Me by Ecstasy, Passion and Pain. The name alone is almost too much. Ecstasy, passion, and pain. Like someone decided to put the entire emotional spectrum into the group's name before they'd even made a record. And then they went ahead and delivered on all 3. This was a New York-based ensemble assembled by producer Bobby Martin. And Ask Me was the record that introduced them to the world in the autumn of 1974. It appeared on the charts almost without warning, and it carried the unmistakable fingerprints of the Philadelphia sound, even though it was born in a different city. The lead vocalist, Barbara Roy, is the center of gravity here. Her voice is not a shout, it's not a performance of feeling, it's the feeling itself. A woman asking someone to simply look at her and see what she's carrying, not to fix it, just to witness it. In 1974, that kind of vulnerability in a soul record wasn't weakness. It was a different kind of strength. The strength it takes to be that open, that plain-spoken, in a world that often rewards the closed and the guarded. The record climbed the R&B chart steadily, the way a quiet truth climbs, not with noise, but with weight. It peaked, and then, like most things that belong to a specific emotional season, it receded. But Barbara Roy's voice on that record never receded. It's still right there, waiting for whoever needs it most. Number 2, Trying to Hold On to My Woman by Lamont Dozier.
I'm just trying to hold on.
Lamont Dozier wrote half the songs that made Motown what it was. He wrote for the Four Tops, for the Supremes, for Marvin Gaye. He understood, better than almost anyone, what it means to take a human feeling and make it permanent.
My woman.
And then, in 1974, he stepped in front of the microphone himself. Trying to Hold On to My Woman is the record of a man who has spent his whole career handing his deepest emotions to other people's voices, and finally decided he had something to say for himself.
Trying to sleep over, girl.
The result is disarming, not because he is a great vocalist in the traditional sense, but because he is utterly, painfully sincere. You believe every word, every syllable.
And that's why I had no desire to paint
The man is not performing Heartbreak, he is reporting it. The production carries his fingerprints, the lush orchestration, the way the track opens up in the chorus, like a door swinging wide.
for all the wrong I've done.
He knew exactly how to build this room. He had built rooms like it for 20 years. But this time, he was the one standing inside it, and you can hear the difference.
You may not know where I'm going.
This record deserved a permanent place in the Motown story. Instead, it became a footnote. But footnotes are not endings. Sometimes, they're the most honest line on the page. Number 1, Woman to Woman, by Shirley Brown. We arrive, at last, at the one.
Woman to woman, if you've
There are records that entertain. There are records that move you. And then there are records that feel like something that actually happened. Something you might have witnessed, might have lived through, might have spent years trying to make sense of.
now if you
Woman to Woman is that kind of record.
woman to woman,
Shirley Brown recorded this in Memphis in 1974, and what she did was something that didn't have a rule book. She structured the whole record around a phone call, one woman calling another, speaking plainly and without performance, asking a question that had no good answer. Do you know my man?
what's rightfully mine?
The song doesn't shout. It doesn't collapse into melodrama. It sits with you the way a true conversation sits with you. And Brown's voice carries something rare, an authority that comes not from power, but from having already decided that the truth matters more than the outcome.
I hope you understand. I love that man.
In 1974, this record hit the R&B chart like something overdue. Women heard it and felt seen in ways that politer songs had never managed. It spoke to the specific, complicated, deeply human reality of love and loyalty, and the choices people make in the quiet spaces that no one talks about.
Woman, woman, woman to woman.
It was a #1 R&B record. And then, with time, it became a secret, known only to the people who had lived close enough to that kind of feeling to need it.
Woman to woman. Now if you were
But a song like this doesn't lose its power. It just waits, patient and certain and completely itself, because the truth doesn't have an expiration date, and neither does a voice that knows how to carry it.
can't you see where I'm coming from?
So there they are, 10 records from a year that gave us so much more than history has bothered to remember. What 1974 understood, what all of it, from Shirley Brown's quiet devastation to George McRae's summer falsetto to Lamont Dozier standing inside his own heartbreak, what all of it understood is something we're still learning. That music is not decoration. It's not background. It's not content. It's the thing we reach for when language runs out, when the grief is too large for a sentence, when the joy is too real for a word, when we need to know at 2 in the morning in an empty kitchen that someone else has been exactly here before. R&B in particular has always carried that weight with grace. It has always found a way to take the specific and make it universal, to take one woman's pain, one man's longing, one community's survival, and press it into vinyl so that 50 years later, a stranger in another time can put on a record and think, yes, that is exactly it. That is why it matters, not because it's old, because it's true. And truth, like a good record, never wears out. It just waits for the right moment, for the right listener, for a night like this one. Take care of yourself out there and keep listening.